Hello there, Commonwealth from here. And as Tears of the Kingdom has turned 3 years old, I think it's about time we look at what this game did so right, but also could have done even more of and even better. And I don't think there's anything else that we could really start with here after you leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell than talking about the chemistry and the build up towards Link and Zelda's relationship, or Zelink if you will. And together with Julius Gloom and also partially with Troll Squad 57, we have been able to envision this one in an even greater way than we got to see with the embrace when Link finally caught Zelda falling down in that ultimate climax and final gameplay sequence of the game. One that was the crowning achievement of a 6-year-old build-up, since we got that cutscene of Link slicing down the Yiga clan members and becoming something more to Princess Zelda than just her chosen knight, or appointed knight as it was, as he had pulled the Master Sword at the age of 12. Because Link and Zelda were in many ways meant to be together, but Ganondorf specifically wanted them as far apart as possible. And it was their love for each other that really made them overcome all odds. We saw that with the awakening of Zelda's inner power, the power of light, the power of hope in front of Fort Hateno. We saw that later on with them two joining forces together to defeat Calamity Ganon and Dark Beast Ganon as well. Then the years they spent together, the ones that we got to learn a little bit about finally in this game, about their activities in Hateno Village, in Lurelin Village, and even in the jungle, and visiting the distraught Zora royal family and so many other places. Places that really didn't allow Link and Zelda to still get past those traumatic memories of the Great Calamity, and knowing that they had lost everything and everyone apart from themselves from that generation. But the new threat of Gloom would break this happiness, even before Zelda would be ready to become Queen of Hyrule. Being pulled away once again, this time by the source of malice, Ganondorf. Being cast down to the darkness and only being saved by her own power, and the first king of Hyrule's, Raru's secret stone. Her sharing of thoughts and connection to Link for all of this, and Link also going after Zelda to the point that he was even tricked by the Yiga clan. All to get her back, and being absolutely distraught when learning the truth of her being the Light Dragon. But luckily, this story had a happy ending. The demon dragon that arose so sudden and so brutally was defeated thanks to what had always been the main theme really, since they were running desperate after the Great Calamity was about to ruin everything. Holding hands together as they used this power to defeat the ultimate evil in the Kingdom of Hyrule. And then holding together as they hit the lake below, getting ready for a life of peace and tranquility. One where Link might even have created a new home for them. A place where they could share and get over those difficult memories, their past, and build a bright future that would become the essence of and hope of Hyrule. Their love and their relationship being the source of pride and the future of the kingdom. One where Zelda would be queen, and Link following the rules of the female member, who is the royal family, and then the male marrying into and taking the title of king. This Link, right here, could have become the king of Hyrule in the epilogue, following the end of Tears of the Kingdom. A kingdom that would have to start from scratch, but which had technology and innovations that would help in the future of this place, but most of all, a couple that truly cared about each other, that had built through the worst trials possible a future like no other. And even if we don't see this couple again in any of the Zelda games, it is what is the main legacy from these games. It's not the open world map, which of course is historic and a landmark moment for the franchise. But that one will pass. We'll get new Hyrules. We will get new maps that we'll fall in love with as we explore them for the first time and charter them, even if it would be Sky Islands. But this Link and Zelda are irreplaceable to the point that some even want a third game with them. But the thing is, this game could not be in Hyrule. It would have to be outside. And when you think about this relationship between these two, it really is Hyrule. They are the remnant of the old Hyrule. The one that was killed on that cursed day, but where the hope survived because they survived. Because Link was hurried off to the Shrine of Resurrection, and because Zelda decided to face her greatest fears. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, as we have seen throughout these games. Age of Imprisonment added extra meaning, but unfortunately didn't allow us more Zelink moments. It didn't allow us to see their relationship blossom. It didn't allow us to see a development throughout the game, and that is probably one of the little bit disappointing parts of Tears of the Kingdom as well, is that the potential that was there, what we learned about what had happened in the interwar years, was just text. It wasn't cutscenes, apart from that little moment with the Master Sword, when Link was pulling it out once again. We didn't get to see them on the beach. We didn't get to see them hug if they had hugged before. We didn't get to see them share their feelings, as they had very similar backgrounds. They were both nobility, as Link's father was most likely a knight in his own right. And that is maybe a thing that Tears of the Kingdom should have focused a little bit more on. So Tears of the Kingdom is, as a result, a game of missed opportunities, where we have a new amiibo coming out of Mineru, or more precisely her construct, at the same time when Mineru's potential was a little bit squandered. She could have been the companion within the Purapad, a person who could share details about Princess Zelda, as she had worked with her in the distant past. It could have added greater insight to Zelda, a connection through that path, and made it even more impactful as a result. We're now looking forward to most likely Ocarina of Time remake and a whole new wave of Zelda games in a style that many thought was over. But there's something about this Link and Zelda that we can't let past. And even though we're getting Secrets of the Zonai, this book doesn't add much when it comes to Link and Zelda's relationship. Translation by Livix Bobby X. There isn't much here about Link and Zelda. The focus is on the Zonai, the focus is on what happened in the distant past, some of it what we got in Age of Imprisonment. So if you expect more Zelink, if you expect more focus on Link in this sense, you're not gonna really get it. If there was, it would have already been brought up, because the book has already been there since 2024. And when it comes out in October, it will be great to have this all in English and localized. But there is something inside of me that feels like the potential of this game was so much greater. Not only with Zelink, not only with the different layers, which could be much more lived in, as we didn't get in the Sky Islands and the Depths. Elements that would have added even greater quality to this game. But at the end of the day, that might be just what Tears of the Kingdom was meant to be. It was meant to be a game of unsolved resolutions, but the most important one being that Link finally got Zelda. They held hands, they embraced each other, and after facing the ultimate evil together, so that they could also live together. It was all about bringing Zelda back. It was all about they would have the peace that they so deeply deserved. And this is also why I think this is the conclusion of Tears of the Kingdom. 2026 is by all means the conclusion of Tears of the Kingdom in the West. Then the only thing that can really change that is if we get DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Because the moment the next The Legend of Zelda game has been revealed, this chapter, the Hero of the Wild and the Princess of the Wild, will have reached its end. A happy end, by all means, where they can be together, where they can hold hands, where they can hug, where they can, even kiss. Something that of course Nintendo would never give us, because they don't want to show those feelings in such a way. Of course it has to do with Japan and public affection, very different from what we used to in the West. But it's also the fact that we got as close to that as we could, seen from a public perspective. But at the same time, there's a feeling in me that wished that there was an epilogue, where we could have seen those happy moments of Link and Zelda. Because in truth, outside of a few cutscenes from the past, or memories if you will, they were not there. I think allows for our imagination to believe and see these scenes that Julius Gloom has delivered, namely Link and Zelda being together, Link and Zelda hugging each other, and being one as they were destined to be, chosen by the sword and awakened by the fall. But what do you think about Zelink? What do you think about some of the missed opportunities of this game? And what would you like to see addressed giving us maybe an even better Zelink story in the next Zelda game, or maybe even Zelda games? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching, and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to our heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf and Kintaro. You rock, and please enjoy these awesome videos.